Good morning and welcome back to Cooking Up the Harvest. It's July and I'm Kimberly Tottenbaum with Recipes for Success in partnership with the beautiful High Point Library. And today we're going to talk about peaches. It's July and that means sweet, juicy, plump peaches. I want to start off with talking a little bit about peaches. There's all different kinds. And right here, the ones you're going to find in the store right now are what they call the Eastern peach. These are ones that are grown more or less locally all through the Carolinas and Georgia and Virginia. Beautiful, plump, sweet, and perfectly ripe. At least I hope they are. It's always a little hard for me. I go by color, and I'm not always sure that that is the best way to pick your peaches, but my dad grew a couple of dozen peach trees, and he always said, look for the rich, dark color, at least in some part on the peach. That indicates ripeness. I'm going to trust my dad on that. And speaking of my dad loved peaches better than any other fruit. But here's the funny thing. My dad, a big, strong, manly man, could not touch a peach without going, ugh. The peach fuzz just gave him the groove, something fierce. And when I was a little bitty girl, one of my first chores with a knife was peeling peaches for my dad so he could have himself a snack, because he couldn't do it himself. The man was helpless by peach fuzz. Then my father discovered nectarines. Now what's nectarine? Nectarine is just a well-shaven peach. Actually, it's not shaven, it just never develops that peachy fuzz. And my father, when he learned that, he planted a dozen nectarine trees. They taste much the same, they cook up the same, and they're just lovely. The only thing is that the skin has been mutated so it doesn't develop the fuzz. So if you're one of those people who cannot touch a peach, try a nectarine. They're wonderful. Now another kind of peach that they have, it's not grown locally, are what they call white flesh peaches. Now these are popular in Asia, and these are what I used to see all the time. The flesh is almost white. You think it's going to be, I don't know, unripe, but they're just as juicy and just as tasty, and in some desserts, they're just gorgeous. But either way, they're wonderful to try. So we're going to start today by peeling our peach, and that's always a bit of a difficulty. Now I'm going to show you a quick trick on how to peel a peach easily. What you're going to do is we're going to take our peaches one by one, and we're going to put them in boiling water for about 2 minutes. Just enough to start the peel cooking, but not the peach inside. Okay, now I've got my water boiling, and you just want to do 1 or 2 at a time. I'm using a relatively small pot, so I'm just going to do 1 at a time. It takes a minute or 2, but once it's done, you'll be so glad. It's so much easier to get this peel off. Just put it in, roll it around, and give it about 2 minutes. Now, after it's finished boiling for about 2 minutes, then we're going to take it out and plunge it into ice water. That's going to shock the peel away from the fruit itself and make it a lot easier to peel. All right, now I've got my peaches. I boiled them, which means it's boiled for 3 minutes or less, and then I plunged them into an ice water bath. Now hopefully what that means is this peel, which can be a little difficult, it's going to come right off. Just like that. And so what I'm going to do is peel all these peaches and get them sliced off, slice them off the stone pit, which is at the heart of every peach. Now that we've peeled our peaches, what we're going to do is take them off the stone, which is the pit in the middle. We're going to slice them thin, put them in a bowl, and put a little sweetener on them, and then let them rest. We'll do that just like this. The reason why we put the sweetener, and in this case I'm using a combination of sugar and stevia, because I want this particular dessert to be diabetic friendly. And what I want to do is let the sweetness kind of sweat out of the peach. Now, this is an Eastern peach, and sometimes you may have heard of what they call free cling or cling-free peaches. That means they come off this red stone in the middle just real easy. Unfortunately, Eastern peaches, which is what we grow around here, don't tend to do that. So sometimes you have to convince the peach that it wants to come off the stone. So we'll do that real quick. And we'll save you the boredom of watching. Now that we've got our peaches all peeled, pitted, and cut up, what we're going to do is add, now you can use regular sugar, but like I said, I'm going to make this diabetic friendly because I want my husband to be able to eat it. And now peaches have a lot of natural sweetness in them, but sometimes you need to draw it out. So we're going to sweat them a little bit by sprinkling just a couple of spoonfuls of sugar or sugar substitute. Now, you can use stevia or monk fruit. You wouldn't want to add the same amount of, say, the pink or the blue stuff on as you would sugar. It would end up with a really strange, almost metallically sweet taste. Give this a quick toss, and then put it in the refrigerator and let it sweat for about 30 minutes. And while that's doing, we're going to be learning how to toast some almonds. Now I've gone ahead and I've got my eye hot. I put my pan on the stove and I want it to get good and hot. So I started it on high, but I'm going to take it down just a notch. And just to make sure that the pan's hot enough, I'm going to drop a little bit of water and see if the drop dances. Yep, look, dancing away. And as it boils off, that lets me know that the pan's hot enough to toast my almonds. Now what we're going to be doing after the water's evaporated, I'm going to put a couple of spoonfuls of almonds in here, and I'm going to let them toast while I stir continuously for about 2, maybe 3 minutes. All that is we want it to get to a light golden brown. Now why do we toast almonds? Because that's where we get the best flavor. And if you're going to eat the calories, you ought to get the most flavor out of them that you can get. So let's just put a couple of good spoonfuls of raw sliced almonds right in this pan. And now we're going to keep them stirred. This takes about 2 or 3 minutes. You don't want to watch it. We're going to use the magic of television to cut this short. Alright, now we've toasted it, taken just about 3 minutes. And if you want to see sort of a before and after comparison, I'm going to go ahead and show you. These are how they looked before they were toasted. And look at this rich, dark color. Now what toasting does, it brings out the natural sugars. So it makes it a more fuller taste, and it's going to give it a richer, slightly nuttier, sweeter taste than just eating it raw. And then as soon as we're done, we want to take it right off of the pan. Why? That pan's hot. The longer these sit there in the pan, they're going to continue to cook, and we've got them just right now. Okay, now we're going to go to the next step, which is whipping our yogurt and our cream cheese together. So now we've got our peaches that are sweated in the sugar. We've got our almonds wonderfully toasted. So the next thing is we're going to get our mixed yogurt with plain cream cheese. So what I'm doing, I'm just going to take, now this is not the brick type, this is already whipped up. So it's going to make it a lot easier for it to kind of come together for us today. And I'm using non-fat yogurt, low sugar, but it is sweetened slightly. I'm using the vanilla flavor. You could use peach, but I want the real peach flavors to come through, not the artificial flavors. So we're going to put these together, and just a second, this blends together properly using a wine glass. You know what? I like the occasional glass of wine, but I have dozens and dozens of wine glasses and I don't get to use them often enough. So why not use them and make something a little fancy? So all we do is that we add our peaches in, a nice base. Then we're going to add in a little bit of our whipped cream or our whipped. Now, because remember how I said I wanted to make this diabetic friendly? By adding a protein with the sweetness of my peaches, I'm adding protein and sweet together, and that means a diabetic will have less problems with having the sugar spike after the dessert because the protein works to balance things out. Now I'm going to add just a few nuts, a little bit more peaches, a little bit more of my yogurt and cream cheese mixture, a little bit more on my nuts on top, and then just a couple of peaches on top. And there we have a gorgeous peach parfait. Now the wonderful thing about these, once you get them done, they'll go neatly in the refrigerator. You want to cover them very loosely with saran wrap or something like that, or a plastic film. And put them in the fridge and they'll set up nicely and they'll keep for hours. So if you're going to be serving a big, nice picnic, you can get this done early in the morning and not have to worry with dessert is already done for you. It's cool, it's refreshing. And beautifully delicious. You gotta give this a try. Try it yourself. You can use other forms of berry. Blueberries are in right now, and of course it's great with strawberries too. But this is a dessert that's not too sweet. Give it a try. Tell me how you like it.